name is Kristin Gorter. We are continuing in our Lent series, Hearts Prepared. Today I'm talking about the sin of partiality. It's basically a fancy way of saying the sin of favoritism and the impact that that can have, not only on us, but on those around us. We see this at work, probably at its worst, in the Old Testament within a family dynamic, between Joseph and his brothers. Joseph's father, Jacob, shows him favoritism, extreme favoritism. Everyone in the family knows that Jacob loves Joseph more than the rest of them. This causes his brothers to be jealous. They hate Joseph and they want to kill him. Ultimately, they sell him into slavery, and they lie to their father saying that Joseph is dead. It destroys the family emotionally, and it destroys them relationally. So it should be no surprise to us that when James sees this happening within the early church, he comes at it strong, because he knows that if it takes root, if they allow it to play out in the early church, it will pull the church apart. So in James chapter 2, verses 1 through 10, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but he describes what is happening and warns them against it and tells them why. It says, "My brothers, show no partiality as you hold the faith in our Lord Jesus Christ, the Lord of glory. For if a man wearing a gold ring and fine clothing comes into your assembly, and a poor man in shabby clothing also comes in, and if you pay attention to the one who wears the fine clothing and say, 'You sit here in a good place,' while you say to the poor man, 'You stand over there,' or 'Sit down at my feet,' have you not then made distinctions among yourselves and become judges with evil thoughts?" So he's using the example here of two different people walking into a church gathering. And the rich one is shown favoritism. He is welcomed warmly. He's given a place of honor and given attention, while the poor man is probably offended. He's pushed to the side and disregarded, which absolutely flies in the face of everything that Jesus taught while he walked the earth. Jesus welcomed the poor man while he was here, and he calls his disciples to do the same. So when the church isn't doing that within their own walls, James gets concerned for good reason. Anybody should be able to come in off of this street into our churches and into our homes and receive the same welcome. And the root of why it is such a big deal, it gets into the fact that Jesus commands us to love our neighbors as ourselves. And by showing partiality, by showing favoritism, we are sinning. We are not doing that command. We are not loving our neighbor as ourselves. So no matter what somebody has to offer, whether it's fame or money or status, whether they have nothing to offer, whether they are an addict, whether they are an alcoholic, whether they are homeless, it does not matter. They are as welcomed into the church body as the next person. And it should be obvious. So I think it's really important for us to take a look at our hearts, especially this season, and make sure that we are prepared to do that. Be honest. Look at your families. Look at your friend groups. Look at your community groups and the people that you sit with at church or you invite into your home for a watch party. What do those groups look like? Is it just the people who look like you? Is it just the people who improve your status? Or is it people who you wouldn't typically be seen with? Are you as welcoming as you think you are? And I think that's a really difficult question to ask ourselves. But maybe this year, maybe our Easter table looks a little bit different. Maybe there's a couple of places, a couple of seats at that table who may have not joined us, but this year it's important to make room for them because Jesus would have had them at his table, and we should also love as Jesus loved, because honestly, the gospel message is for the rich man, and it's for the poor man, and it's for everyone in between. It's for the depressed. It's for the lonely. The gospel is for all. And are we playing favorites with who we invite to hear the gospel, or are we sharing it truly with all?